Hello, welcome to another edition of the Awesomecast. We've got another awesome interview for you today. No, I will not let Evangelion die. There's nothing that any of you can do about it. I have control of the system now. Today is not just special because we're doing another interview. It's not just special because we're talking about Evangelion. It's special because this is something I've wanted to do for a long, long time. Anyone who knows me knows what a big deal this is for me. So I get to share with you achievement unlocked, goal accomplished. I get to say the words. Amanda Winn Lee, thank you for joining us.
Yay, thank you so much for having me.
It is absolutely my pleasure. I'm gonna be like Obama strutting after he announced that Bin Laden was dead. I'm gonna be like high stepping it out of here. Just like, oh, fuck yeah, fuck all y'all. I did it. Take that, Dad.
Awesome. Well, I am psyched up to be here. Like I said, I drank some coffee, so I may spontaneously combust or just start, twitching. But that means that's good. That's the proper amount of caffeination in my life.
Okay, good. We'll work with that. So first of all, I have to ask the most important question. What is the status of the dude, and has he made any more escape attempts?
Oh my God, I love this tortoise so much. It's so ridiculous. Like when we first got him, I thought it was just going to be one of these things like, there's a reason why people say reptilian brain, use that like in an insult. You think it's mostly like just stimulus response. Like there's no real... He has the best personality. He's awesome. And he loves me. Like every time I come out, he comes running over and he nibbles on my toes. Dude, if I sit on the ground, he tries to sit in my lap. For those of you who don't know, the dude is a 70-pound African sulcata tortoise who lives in our backyard. So my husband had to go to Home Depot and build an extra gate in front of the gate to sort of psych him out so that he wouldn't escape from the backyard again.
Maximum security for that guy.
So I love my dude. I'm actually thinking of, although I might wait until the world's a little less COVID-y.
Yeah.
Just like everybody is so fascinated whenever he comes out. And so I may just go sit out on my front lawn and put him in an enclosure and just be like, on like one Saturday or Sunday, just be like, hey, everybody come meet the dude. Why not? Because everybody seems fascinated with him. So.
We can give him like a little autograph booth set up or something. I don't know how we'll work that out. Maybe just put his paw in some paint. Yeah.
Little tortoise tread.
Yeah. So what I usually try and do in these interviews is I usually try and get to know the person. I don't like to get real granular in like any particular show or role. But this is going to be an exception. We're going to talk some Evangelion because there's some really interesting circumstances that surrounded the most recent movie and the re-release of the other rebuild movies on Amazon Prime. So we're going to get into that a little bit. But first, let me just kind of take a broader view and just ask, what made you take an interest in acting?
I've always loved attention. To be honest, it's the thrill of plumbing the depths of your soul. No, I just like people looking at me. Actually, it's funny. When I was in second grade, I had a teacher named Mrs. Dawson. And I remember she specifically told me once that I needed to learn to sit still and stop making funny noises. That nobody was going to pay me to make funny noises when I grew up. So anytime somebody asks, like, how'd you get into acting? I'm like, how you like me now, Mrs. Dawson? So yeah, I've just always loved performing. I love making people smile. That's like my favorite thing to do. Like I love going into a 7-Eleven and actually making contact with the person behind the desk. So many people, like in retail or just in the service industry, just like treat these people like they're just robots or whatever. And my favorite thing to do is like go in and like make eye contact and be like, hey, how's your day? And it's like you see the smiles spread on their face. Like they some of them get just look shell-shocked, like it's talking to me. Oh my God.
Right.
Some of them you can see they're like genuinely pleased to be acknowledged as a fellow human being. We were talking about acting and I just got off on me running around making people smile.
That's
I like
okay.
smiling. Smiles are awesome. That's my final answer.
All right. Yeah, you're absolutely right though. Anyone who's ever worked like any sort of retail customer service, yeah, you're so used to being treated like as not a person that, and there's always like the sort of Damocles hanging over you of like, at some point someone's gonna come in here and they're just gonna decide it's time to ruin my day for whatever reason. So like I can totally see someone being like, you're in there, you've been really friendly, and they're like, oh God, what's coming next? What's gonna happen? They're so traumatized by it.
Yeah, I mean, there's the I will sometimes even, and this is very presumptuous of me, but if I hear somebody giving like the 7-Eleven clerk a hard time, I'll apologize for them. I'll say, you know what, that person's too much of a jerk to ever truly appreciate how rude they just were. So I'm sorry that happened to you. And every single time, the look of just of confusion
Right.
makes me laugh. Like, it's like, what, you're being nice to me. What are you doing? You know, it's like, of course I am. Welcome to planet Earth. We're all in this big crazy ball together. Let's try and get through it.
Yeah, it's a mark of empathy. Like you're like, man, I'm so sorry about that asshole, but
Yeah. Exactly.
sometimes people just don't know what the hell to do with it.
Okay, so I can say asshole.
Man, go nuts.
Okay.
Go nuts.
Because I was like, sometimes when someone's a big jerk, you know.
Fuck it up. Let's go.
Excellent. The Band-Aid's off. We've all heard the word fuck before. We're moving forward. Excellent.
Yes. Let's all act like adults here, or not.
I was gonna, well,
yeah, I'm really the last person telling anyone to act like adults.
You and me both, honey. Who's it? Do you know Toshi Yoshida?
I don't.
He used to work for Viz, and now he's a big wig at Pokemon. He used to have this avatar that said, if you don't grow up by age 40, then you don't have to. And I'm like, that is exactly it.
I just turned 39, so I don't think I'm. I just turned 39. I don't think I'm gonna make it. So I may just get exempted.
You've got a year to get your shit together. Ready, go.
Oh, fuck me. All right. Well. Oh well.
No pressure. You know.
Yeah. Thanks. Appreciate it. So we're gonna get into a real serious question here.
Okay.
But I kind of like it because everybody's answer is different, and who's had the biggest impact on your career, and that doesn't have to be like a director or another actor or anything. It can be someone who's encouraged you, anything like that.
Honestly, just the anime community has blown me away. Just yeah, there can be nitpicky and people fighting, but like things like people coming together to raise money for Chris Ayres, or when my son was a baby, he had cancer, and the way the anime community came together for me, we wouldn't have gotten through this without their help. Just Tiffany sent cards, Trish Ledoux like rounded up blood donors, Zero Jester donated blood. I mean, like so many people were such an integral part of helping us get through that it made me realize that anime wasn't just a career. It was really just a part of my life. So that's my very, very serious answer.
That's an excellent answer. You're pandering to the audience. I love it. 100% approval rating on that answer. Yeah, I mentioned this with Danina. If anyone has not listened to that, go make sure listen to the rest of this, then go back and listen to that because she is a treasure. But I kind of mentioned your book, The Noodle Chronicles. It's on Amazon, and it's a it's a good read. It's a short read, comparatively speaking, but it is a harrowing read in places. I went back and pulled it up and just kind of like skimmed through a couple of chapters, just to kind of like refresh my brain. And I started like I was reading the chapter about like where you first started to get the diagnosis, and he had like the garden hose up his ass and everything else. And I just started feeling like extremely stressed out, even though I knew things turned out fine. It's like, oh my god, that is awful. So it's one of those things like I encourage people to read it, but know what you're getting into.
Yes, exactly. This is not chicken soup for the soul. This is not. When you come out the other end of my book, you go, oh my God, I made it through. Which was sort of what we did with my son and my father's cancer.
I mean,
I'm making an audio book of it with some minor rewrites, some minor updates. But yeah, I'm in the process of working on that. And then that's another thing that will raise money for the Leukemia Lymphoma Society.
That's fantastic. I would say, what took you so long? Like, that seems like the most obvious thing to do in the world, voice actor, doing an audiobook that they wrote.
I've actually tried a couple of times, and honestly, like, I just wasn't in the place where I could go through it.
Yeah.
I was just too raw, and living through that again, just reading through it, I was like, yeah, I'm going to go throw myself in front of a bus. Let's put this one on the shelf for a little while.
Yeah, that is totally fair, because I just talked about like just me, an outsider, not having experienced it in the slightest, just rereading it, a couple hours ago and be like, oh God. So yeah, that's totally fair. That's a totally fair response.
So for those of you who have not read it, my book is about a 3-year period of my life when my son was 6 months old and he had cancer. And then it was a rare blood cancer. He wasn't supposed to survive, but he is my son, so he is stubborn, so he kicked its butt. And then about 3 weeks after my son finished chemo, my father was diagnosed with esophageal cancer. So it was just our family's battles with cancer and moving forward. And believe it or not, it's pretty funny. It's heavy, but it's pretty funny. The first line is, I fucking hated being pregnant. So you knew right from the get-go, this is not chicken soup for the soul. This is not some saccharine sweet, and then we let go and let God. This is just a normal person, and this is what it was like to go through this.
Pardon me, I think I just threw up in my mouth a little bit there. Yeah. Since we're already talking about it, tell us a little bit about the fundraiser that you and Deneen are doing. How do you, kind of get that idea? Tell everybody a little bit about what's going on.
Well, it sort of almost started as a joke, like at the after the premiere. So we all got together for the premiere and saw, did a screening, and then we all went to Trejo's Tacos. And the three of us just, like, I love Tiffany. Tiffany just cracks me up. She's just such an awesome human being. I love it, because I also love that with Tiffany, you always know exactly where you stand. There is absolutely no bullshit involved.
No.
So Tiff is one of my favorite people. And Deneen was just this doll, just this absolute, oh my God, I just wanted to scoop her up and snuggle with her. Like, we had so much fun just being silly together that I sort of jokingly said something about, like, let's do a slumber party. So me being like, a dog with a rag, like, wouldn't let it go. So I got in touch with them. I was like, seriously, guys, let's do this. And so Tiffany was like, this is really difficult for me. And I was like, I absolutely understand. That is an expense. I'm like, maybe the fans want to hang out with us. Let's do that. Let's see if maybe we can all play together on Halloween. Why not? Because Delta was rising, and I was like, it looks like it's going to be another crappy year. So why not? So we started it, and it got funded like that, the first part of it. And so then I went, ooh, well, if people really want to see us get together, can we send Tiffany first class? Because it's like this 8-hour flight. And,
Yeah.
and also just Tiffany is like one of the most dedicated voice actors I've ever met. Like she is absolutely there for the fans. And so I just wanted to sort of like give back to her a little. And she's my girl, so I love her. So we doubled it and we reached that goal. And so then we went, you know what? We'd always said we were going to give whatever was extra to the Leukemia Lymphoma Society. That was always the plan. We thought maybe like a couple $100 or something and everybody be happy. But it looks like people really want this to happen. So it looks like this is an opportunity for us to genuinely raise a little chunk of cash for the Leukemia Lymphoma Society, which I love the Leukemia Lymphoma Society so much, obviously because my son had leukemia, but because they're still working for a cure. The problem is we have a treatment for blood cancer right now, but we don't have a cure. So like my son, he went through, he was supposed to go through 5 rounds of chemo. He only made it through 4 and we had to stop because it was going to kill him. And then we had to wait for 3 years to see whether or not it had worked. We had 3 years of not knowing whether or not the cancer was going to come back. And little kids shouldn't have to deal with that. They should deal with, can I steal another cookie before dinner? Not, oh God, what's my platelet count today? And if I fall down and bump my head, do I have to go to the hospital again? So I've always been a huge fan of theirs, just trying to help them raise money for a cure. We have a treatment, but we need a cure. The treatment is brutal. It's chemo is one of the most brutal things you can do to your body. Unfortunately, that's all we got right now. So by helping raise money, we're finding more of a treatment, more of a cure that'll help people and not poison them along the way.
Right.
So please, and like I said, like any amount, like $1, the change that's in the couch cushions, any amount is so greatly appreciated, especially right now with the world being upside down and everything. So yeah, we're especially blown away that people have been so generous, so kind.
And I know at the time of the recording, you just posted an update. You had a set of posters, $100 donation or more. The 3 of you, yourself, Tiffany, Deneen, all signed them. Had the first round, gone. Second round, you waited, made sure everything was cool and copacetic with the posters. I think all but one is gone, and hell, but
that one,
at the time we've been talking, it's probably already gone.
Yeah, no. As soon as I posted that, somebody snatched up the last one. So, like I said, I want to wait until this next batch comes in to make sure that, it's like printing quality throughout. But then I'm gonna just order like 30 of them and see if we can't really like raise some money for the LLS. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna spend Halloween. We're gonna sign posters, and then we're also gonna play some stupid Halloween games, and answer questions, and just basically be ridiculous.
Guys, please do me a favor. Keep your dumbass questions to yourself. Like, I'm just the guy attending these panels, and so, like I've been in like group interviews with people. And I swear to God, I'm just gonna start beating the shit out of people who's like, "Hey, can you say, can you have this character say blah 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 to this character?" And it's like, okay,
nope.
number one, they aren't jukeboxes, number
We're
2,
not
like
dogs. We don't perform tricks.
Like number 2, like ask something interesting for fuck's sake.
Yeah. I rarely do. I rarely do my characters.
Right.
Part of that is because I sort of have respect, a little bit of fear for the parent companies. I don't want them coming after me being like, "Why is Ray voicing a porno?" or whatever. So
shout outs to Hell in Bed.
You went there. I can't believe you went there.
You set me up for it, Amanda. What did you want?
You know what's really funny? Somebody else did like real porn under the name Helen Bed, and it got attributed to my IMDb. And then there's this whole tag. There was this whole thread on the bottom about like poor Amanda Winn Lee. I can't believe she had to go to porn. And everyone's like, no, you know, all actresses do things at the beginning of their career. I'm like, the worst thing I did was fake an orgasm for F3. No one saw any of this naked. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you just served that one right up. I
wasn't
gonna say anything.
I did beautifully.
Wasn't gonna say anything though. Like, well, we're here.
We're here, and it's me. You can say just about anything.
Yeah, I was making a calculated risk there. So, speaking of Ray,
yes.
I'm just gonna take these opportunities as they come. Clearly, I'm gonna. But so coming back to the role, you know, there were a lot of interesting circumstances that surrounded, you know, the cast for the last movie, because after the Netflix dub, things were a big question mark. I had the opportunity to speak with Tiffany Grant a couple of years ago at a convention, and it was weeks after the Netflix dub. And I don't recall exactly how we got to it, but at some point I just asked her point blank, you know, do you think you're going to get to come back for the last movie? And she said, no, I don't think I'm ever going to get to play Asuka again. I'm so glad she was wrong.
Me too. She is Asuka.
Yes.
I mean, Tiffany is Asuka. She's this little bitty, beautiful ball of fury. And I love it.
And of course, you know, that's nothing against the actors from the Netflix dub. I know you guys have been nothing but positive towards them.
Well, I mean, they're actors. They're just they're kids taking a gig, and you know, we've been dealing with the Evangelion fandom for over 20 years, so we're used to how brutal they can be. Those poor sweeties. I mean, they're just going in there and doing their best to do a job. And fans are just being horrible. So knock it off, Evangelion fans.
Right? Like if you had the opportunity, you wouldn't be like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'll do it.
Exactly, right?
Not to mention just how competitive acting and voice acting is as an industry. Like, if you're gonna get the job, you're gonna take it.
Exactly. And you know, I haven't met I believe it's Stephanie did Asuka. I can't remember, but I've met Casey and Ryan, and I love them both. They're adorable. Casey is now my adopted child. And Ryan and I keep saying we've got to do we've got to get Brina Palencia and do a Ray world tour.
Yes.
I'm like, absolutely, yes.
And if there's any franchise that has room for like multiple interpretations of the same role.
So, I mean, it is a little different for them. Just because the way when we did Evangelion, we literally spent 2 years doing it.
Right.
You know, we do 1 volume in a week, and then we do a bunch of other stuff, and then we come back to it. So we really lived with Evangelion for 2 years. Whereas the Netflix kids, they kind of got thrown into it.
Right.
I think they did an amazing job with what they were given, but I feel like the old guard may have a little more connection with the characters just because we spent longer with them, but that doesn't mean that the new kids are wrong or stuff or anything like that. Like I said, we've just been living with it a lot longer.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're such good kids. And did you see my tweet about the Netflix script?
I did.
So, okay, yeah. When we first did the series Evangelion, they sent us these scripts by Oscar, whatever his name is. The ones that say third children, first children, and whatever.
Yeah.
And Matt took one look at them and went, no, absolutely not.
Nobody talks like that.
And so we wrote back, and it was like we literally had to sort of put our foot down and say, listen, if you were going to sell this in America, you have to let us sell this in America. For example, they didn't want any English on the original box cover. We're like, yeah, nobody knows what this is over here. You gotta give us a little bit of wiggle room. So then when Tiff and I went in for our auditions for the Netflix dub and we saw Oscar's script again, we started laughing our asses off. Like, oh my God, like, I can't believe I can't believe they kept that thing for 25 years. And I can't believe they're going to finally make them use it.
Yeah.
So I feel like they were hobbled by that. I feel like, and the one thing that I will not forgive in the Netflix dub, absolutely will not forgive, is making Poirot's relationship platonic.
Right.
That pissed me off so royally, because the whole point is that Poirot is the only person that we know of in all of Evangelion who has ever said, I love you to Shinji, and Shinji has to kill him.
Right.
When it's like, when it's your best buddy, it pulls your heartstrings.
Right.
But it's not the same as the one person who genuinely loves you. And so when Netflix dialed that down, that really pissed me off. I don't understand why they did it. It's 2021. Gay relationships are awesome. We're all fluid and everybody's dating everybody. Like, why have a problem? Why make this a problem now? So, yeah, I'm never going to work for Netflix again, am I?
That's only if somebody listens to this. If enough people listen to this and it gains some sort of traction, that's going to be the first time in over a decade of doing these interviews anybody's given enough of a fuck that it's going to cost somebody some work.
I will be the first. Excellent.
You know what? It's been a long time coming doing this interview with you. So yeah, let's really fuck it up.
Oh God.
Do we have anyone else we want to piss off?
Yeah, right.
Like, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened with Funimation, but after that first take on the 3.33 dub, they, Kara apparently was like, all right, we're getting involved in all this shit now.
Yeah, apparently, so the story that I heard is that they did not understand the American response. That the Japanese response, people sat in the movie theaters, complete silence, enwrapped, whereas we're dickheads. We're they're like laughing and cheering and whatever. And the Japanese were appalled because to them, Evangelion is very serious business. And to them, the story needs to be told correctly. And so they just didn't understand that Americans are a little more loud and vulgar. So
go figure.
I think what happened with the Funimation dub. I'd heard very good things about it, though. I heard that Mike had done an excellent job. I think he you know what? I don't know what I think. I'm going to say something important. Nah.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, that's what I heard happened. And so then we got to work with Dubbing Brothers and Joe Freya. And Joe has been a doll. I mean, Joe is just a big old teddy bear. I've had so much fun. Evangelion was in such good hands. Like, I could tell he knew his stuff. So, and I told him that. And then actually, when we finished recording first we recorded 3.0 plus 1.0, and then we went back and recorded the first 3 rebuilds. And when we finished recording, I actually gave to him, somebody had given me programs from End of Evangelion and from Death of Rebirth after I finished doing the dub for the movies.
Right.
As a sort of like, congratulations, you completed it. And so I signed those and I gave those to him as my way of saying, welcome and thank you so much for preserving Evangelion's legacy and for doing such a great job. So I think the fans should be happy with what he did. If
I
not, fuck him.
So I wanted to ask, because I've talked to Spike, I've talked to Deneen, and they both had different experiences, because Spike, when we found out, they were gonna do, I think it was Skyrocket was the code name they used, but he looked at it, it's like, oh, we're doing Ava finally, okay, great. Whereas Deneen had to go through an interview and all that. So what was that experience like? Were you just like contacted, and how long did it take you to look at it and be like, oh, cool, I'm doing Ava again?
Well, it's funny. So the first thing they do is make you sign an NDA.
Of course.
So I was like, oh, this is getting interesting. And so then I got the email saying, hey, we're recording the fourth Evangelion. We want to bring back as much of the original cast as we can. And so then I sent them a letter like a dumbass. I was like, well, if you're trying to preserve the cast for the movies, you need to get in touch with Brina Palencia, because I did this series, but she did the rebuild movies. So then I get this email back that's like, well, can you send us an audition tape? And my first response was, fuck you. Fuck you. I auditioned for Netflix. I'm never auditioning for fuck you. But so then Tiffany talked me down, my darling girl. She's like, honey, it's been 20 years. I know you can still do the voice, but they need to hear it. And I was like, okay, that, you know what? That's reasonable. So I did a recording and sent it off to them. And then they went, okay, cool. When can we book you? And as soon as they booked me in, I went in sort of armed with my Rolodex of all the people that I'd kept in touch with from the Death and Rebirth and End of Evangelion movies. I talk English good. And so that I helped them to bring back as much of the original cast as we could. It was fun.
And I'm so glad that you all got to do it again. It was super exciting. There is part of me that's like, I do feel for like some of the Funimation actors, like Trina Nishimura, who did the voice of Mari. And my understanding is that was an incredibly competitive audition process. Mm-hmm. So, it sucks that she doesn't get to kind of like finish that out. But of course, I am, absolute number one Deneen Melody fan, super fan.
Right? Oh my God. We went in, so we go in and we're watching the screening, and the first 5 minutes is just Deneen like singing, playing along. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I just burst into applause afterwards. I was like, go Deneen! Like, I'm like, holy cow. Like, she does such an amazing job with Mari. She does a great job of making her this wonderful ebullient character, yes, who's not annoying. Right. Sometimes the ebullient ones get really annoying, and she's not. She's just awesome. And it was interesting because I initially said, like, when I watched the rebuilds, I was like, why are they adding another pilot? What did they don't need to do that. What is this? And now that I've seen 3.0 plus 1.0, absolutely they had to add another pilot, because Asuka, Rei, and Shinji are so messed up that they were not going to be able to solve this themselves. So having this Deus Ex Machina in the form of Mari come in was actually really a stroke of genius, because it helped them to move the story forward so that everybody lives in the end instead of everybody dies in the end.
Right. Not to mention, Mari is probably at the time of 3.0 plus 1.0, like in her 40s.
Right?
There are all kinds of interesting implications there.
Right?
But,
I went and saw her in the drawings with hanging out with like Gendo and Yui, and I'm like, wait, and she's wait, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, this is really interesting. I don't know. Anna talked about going back and exploring the 14 years that Shinji's comatose or whatever. I'd be interested to see, like, I'd love to hear Mari's backstory. I'm smitten with her.
Yes. I swear to God, I was gonna go somewhere and I completely
your
lost
brain
it. That's okay. Yeah, just
that happens. Like, you turn your head and it's like somebody shook an Etch-a-Sketch and all of a sudden it's blank. And I'm like, oh shit. Mine does that a lot these days.
Yeah, we're getting old.
I prefer to think of it as aging like fine wine.
Yes. That works for some of us more than others. I think that works very well for you. I'll say that.
Oh, you're sweet.
Yeah, I could just be a dick at this point. Like, I've got the recording down now. I don't have to be nice to her anymore. Hey, fuck you.
That's awesome.
But I no, okay. Number one, nobody ever listens to these for me. Like that. That's not why they're clicking on this shit. But I always do feel like it's important to at times be vulnerable and be sincere if you're looking for the other person to do the same thing. So
Yeah.
you kind of gotta pick your spots with people and just show them a little bit of yourself. And sometimes that's just saying, "Hey, fuck you, fuck you, Amanda Winley."
Yay! Watch, now I'm gonna have people running up to me and going, "Hey, Amanda, fuck you!"
And then everybody's gonna laugh and smile. That feels like a fitting tribute to you, though.
Yeah. Oh God, it's like the ending of Idiocracy when they're all flipping each other off.
Oh man.
I love that movie. It's a shame it came true.
Yeah, I was about to say it was weirdly prescient.
That what's really interesting, like that movie and the Purge movie were before the Cheeto dickhead were like these sort of outlandish, crazy.
Yeah,
like
this could never happen, right?
Right. That was like part of the reason I couldn't really get into the Purge movies was I couldn't do the suspension of disbelief. It just seemed so unreasonable to me that anyone would be like, okay, for 12 hours, crime is reasonable. And then the Cheeto dickhead came in, and all of a sudden, this became like a cautionary tale. Like this is where we're headed. You better run, kind of thing.
And I have not watched any of the Purge movies, but I love the fact that apparently the logical conclusion to this franchise has been they just do the forever Purge where they're like, you know what, fuck it, we're just gonna do all crime all the time now. Yeah, we realized we had a lot of fun in these 12 hours. We're just gonna not go back.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. The last one I saw was the one with the election. It was election year.
Oh God, yeah. Oh,
that was a good one. And in the end, do you hear like over the closing credits, they talk about how there's armed uprisings are occurring at all the polling sites. Honest to God, that's when I was expecting November when in 2020. Like I didn't think they were going to wait until January 6th.
Yeah, I was about to say
that was going to be the day.
They held out a few weeks and just did it on January 6th.
But I think that by counting, by like taking so long to count the votes, that helped. Like, I think a lot of people cooled off. Other crazy bastards went apeshit, but that's whatever. Yeah. But I think like the majority, everyone sort of, it gave them time to take a step back and go, okay, wait a minute. This is really getting absurd. At least I hope.
I mean, it's hard to be optimistic these days.
It is. You got to find your joy. You got to look hard to find your own joy because there's some really weird, awful shit in the world.
100% there. Okay, so we're gonna start winding down. I know your kid's gonna get home from school soon and all that. You got life to live and things to do and people to say fuck you to. But what are some of the things you like to do outside of
acting? I love hanging out with my family, which is so lame. Although my son is 16 now, so he's starting to get to the point where he's just like, ugh, don't even look at me. What do I love to do? I love playing with my dogs. I love animals. I love critters. I love reading. I love finding my joy, to be honest. That's what I try and do every day, is try and find like something that makes me smile, even if it's just for a second, you know? I just think that when circumstances are as messed up as the ones that we're in right now, that you got to really advocate for yourself and just find your own joy. So that's what I try and do. So like when I was younger, I would dress and sort of do things according to whatever made me feel like sexy and powerful. Now I just go with whatever cracks me up. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to wear. That's what I'm going to go with. So finding joy is my hobby.
I love it. That's a good hobby to have. I feel like more people should pick that up.
Well, there's some people that just aren't happy unless they're miserable.
They sure aren't.
You know, and after all the cancer stuff we went through, I sort of realized like you've got to find your joy and hold on to it whenever you can, because the bad times are going to be there. And when they're there, they're going to be pretty overwhelming and pretty awful. So while they're not there, you got to make the best of it. And you got to build up a memory bank of happy memories to get you through all the awful shit. So, yay, go find joy.
Yeah, that's such a great takeaway though, because the years that you go over in your book, such an incredibly challenging, difficult time, and it's beyond my scope of experience to try and comprehend. Like I have to relate it to completely unrelated things to even try and like reach that empathetic level of, God, that just had to be the fucking worst. But you know, I'm so glad that everyone made it through it. I'm so glad that, you know, you're able to just be like, you know what, fuck you, life. I'm gonna be happy anyway. I'm just really happy that things turned out the way they did.
Thank you so much. And thank you. Like I said, I've noticed you around. Like, thank you for being such a wonderful supporter and just being a good dude. The world needs more good dudes. So thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you for noticing me, senpai. Before we get out of here, anything else you want to share with anybody? Anything you want to plug? I know you've got your YouTube channel, and we've talked about the fundraiser.
I have a YouTube channel, and on it I have a show called A Mom's Guide to Cannabis. I'm basically trying to destigmatize weed and get people to be less afraid of it. It's actually pretty good for you, dare I say. Of course, all things in moderation. But there's that. Oh, and I got to be Caroless on Pokemon Journeys, which I think just came out on Netflix. And she talks like this. Oh, God, I'm late again. That always happens when I forget to set my alarm. It's awesome. It was so much fun. And I had so much fun with Lisa. So she's an old dear friend from the old days. So we just had a blast in the studio. So I think, yeah, that's it. And keep an eye out. Like I said, I'm gonna release the audiobook. I promise.
Excellent. Yeah, we'll try and keep the Netflix stuff between you and me. that way you can get back to do more Pokemon or whatever. Because I need to hear this particular voice. I don't think I've ever heard you do that particular take on something. So
that's the thing. It's like I keep getting cast all these cute little perky, and I'm like, I have this old lady voice. Young man, you make my ass itch. I'm dying to use that voice on something. Or Caroless, another like a voice down in here. I always wanted to use this voice for something. And somebody finally gave me a chance to play with it and do it. And I was just like, yay! So I like having fun.
Well, Amanda, it has been a pleasure. It has been so personally meaningful for me. And I cannot say thank you enough.
Thank you so much for taking the time and just for, like I said, being a good dude. We need more people like you in the world.
I appreciate it.
You.
Thanks for listening to yet another production of the OSMcast, your podcast for everything awesome. You can find us online at awesomecast.com, OSMcast.com, or, wherever you find your podcasts, just search for OSMcast. You can also find us on the social medias, OSMcast at Twitter or on Facebook. Of course, you can also find our wonderful interview guru, the greatest living interviewer, John Robbins, at J5 is Live. Or perhaps you'd like to follow our amazing editor, Anna, at Angel Darkfire. Or just me, at It's Basil Time on Twitter. Our theme song is produced by DJ Inabito, and you can find him online at djinabito.com. And once again, thanks for listening to the Awesome Cast. We appreciate you.